uh, Dr. Vibe's allies, but I thought it does not yet, but doesn't have as much of a Toronto-based audience or Canadian-based audience. Not yet, but we're going to get there with it. And I wanted him to come on, and he's actually going to an event today that's happening there, an announcement that's going to be happening. But Jonathan is going to bring some very, if he continues where he was last night, some very unique and passionate perspectives on about a lot of people or some people, etc. So Ryan, what updates do you have on your end in regards to the Melody refugee situation?
I want to say that it's improving. One thing that I've noticed, as I'm talking to the volunteers that are there now, when people are getting placed in either hotels or other shelters other than the church, the services are starting to get disconnected. So they'll be at a hotel now, but now they might not be getting the 3 meals a day. They might not be able to talk to health professionals or people that can support them with employment services and settlement services. So yeah, it brings on another challenge now that they're, yes, in a more, I would say, comfortable situation away from, let's say, the church. But at the church, a lot of things were happening in that central location. So when they moved out now and they're further away, so transportation for them getting to their appointments becomes difficult. It just layers on more complexity. So yeah, I feel like we're gonna figure it out. I do know that a lot of the government dollars are supposed to be flowing, so things should get smoother. But I don't know the insides of how that works. I'm hearing unfortunate things where, hey, the city got, I think, 97 million from the government. It's time for us to follow that money. Where did it go? Because we're hearing reports that it already has been accounted for based on previous expenses.
You're kidding.
If that's true, that is not acceptable. And now we need to understand how much of that 97 million has gone to the refugees that it was earmarked for. Because remember, the federal government came out and said specifically that that money was for the Toronto refugees that were going through this crisis right now, not for anything in the past. So we have to see, somebody needs to do some auditing and accounting to make sure that the organizations that are right now on the ground doing the work is getting compensated for the work that they've already done and be able to use the money to support them further so we can get this smoothed out.
Okay, yeah. Fitness IQ says, yeah, show me the money, yes. All right, yes. Jonathan is back. A little bit of a different locale. Juice Man.
Hey, how you doing? Does this work better?
Audio is good.
It's a little bit better. You know, I think it's going to be as good as it gets. I think for some reason.
This is weird. I'm on my work computer actually now. So this is, I don't know if I'm just having internet issues or, you know, hey.
Are you using Wi-Fi?
People are talking, you know, I mean, and that sort of thing.
Are you using Wi-Fi?
Yeah, unfortunately, where I'm at right now.
Okay.
Or I can go back on my phone and find another location if that works.
What do you think's better, Ryan? This or where he was doing previous?
Yeah, the delay is not too bad. So we could rock with it for a minute, and then if it gets worse, we'll figure it out.
All right.
Yeah, this one for whatever reason is freezing a lot more than the other one. So.
Yeah, you know what? I'd rather you go the other one because I think it's delayed.
Let's try this again.
All right.
Let me try doing it again.
All right.
Okay, we'll take you off and bring you back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Yeah, and I know Ryan and I spoke yesterday a little bit, and there were one or two things he shared with me that I went, what? And there was one thing specifically that I sort of went, no. This you can't go with me with that. So I want you to bring it up when we start the main part of our conversation. I have a feeling this may take the whole conversation, the show today. We had some other, we'll see. Well, yeah, maybe. Well, I know Jonathan may have to go to somewhere, so let's bring him back. Okay, Juice Man.
Yeah, let me just take you off of this one here.
Okay. All right. He's gonna go to another place. But yeah, so this, and the thing is, one of the things we talked about last time, we'll continue our conversation today, is how it was a news story for a minute and now it's gone. But the situation still exists.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where it starts to bring into question, what is the protocol when refugees typically come to Canada? And what is the protocol for the Black community when refugees come to Canada? Because that's a process that I'm not familiar with. So I'm kind of learning as we go. But those that this is their job, we have to understand, are they fully supported? Do they have the resources they need? And even, is there a blueprint for this?
I wonder, it'd be a very interesting comparison, process and follow the money wise, how these melanated refugees were treated versus the Ukrainian refugees.
Well, I'm hoping that all these investigative reporters that like to do articles on the Black community and in a negative light, put your expertise to work on this. Like, yeah, one, because it wasn't like they snuck into Canada; they were welcomed here to Canada, and so there's supposed to be a process that they go through. And if you compare, and this is from Ryan just observing the situation. When the war happened in Ukraine, you heard massive amounts of support, massive amounts of media coverage, and massive amounts of dollars going towards making sure that they were welcomed here and then landed softly and now are stabilized. When these refugees were on the way, I have no idea what's happening and why they're fleeing their country. That's not reported on the news. Now we're seeing with our eyes that they aren't landing softly and going through the process. If they're on the streets for 2 months, that is not what we are seeing with the Ukrainian refugees. So these are just our community seeing what's happening and comparing, and it's not appropriate. So this is where, when we're talking about what resources are typically deployed to support refugees that come here, clearly either that's not happening or there's a true neglect in those that are supposed to be doing this job. And then we have to ask the question, why?
Okay. And also we want to take a look at solutions too. I think we've got Jonathan back. I think we're going to get him to the best we're going to get him. Yes. So we're going to bring him back.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes,
the atmosphere, the environment matches the voice.
Okay.
All right.
Good morning, Juice Man. Thank you for taking time out of your positive, productive schedule to share with us. And when I was getting up this morning, I think there's another title you should be adding on, but I'll let you introduce yourself for those who may not know you. But then I'm going to put "and." So go ahead, Juice Man.
Okay, I'm the Juice Man, Jonathan Shaw. I'm a voice actor, entrepreneur. I guess I should use my big title. I'm a creative director for 2 different radio stations, one in Toronto, one in Ottawa. They're both Indigenous owned. And yeah, father, that's it. DJ.
How long you been? Tell people how long you've been DJing for.
Oh gosh. We don't want to say it. 40.
Okay.
Wow, 40 years now, I guess.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm old. I'm crusted. Yeah. It's weird.
And I
no, 40 is not crusty. I just hit 40.
Yeah, you just hit 40.
40. Yeah, you did DJ for 40.
I've been DJing for 40 years.
It's serious. And I must say, your son's immensely talented. I know you post sometimes about like the production that he does of music. Just wanted to say you've been following along.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, after the conversation last night, and Juice Man and I have known each other probably about 30 years. And I think I think the first time we met,
each one teach one at PWD's in the basement.
Well, not only that, but one of the first times I remember is when George Fraser first came to Toronto.
Yes, and he was down at Burke's bookstore. I actually have both of his
Yep.
books.
There you
And-
go.
And then we went. Then all of us went to go hear him speak at the OZ auditorium, and we decided that we're gonna go get some food. And somebody mentioned a place that was white owned, and we're like, no. We went to Epiphany, upscale Epiphany down
Yes.
on was it Gloucester?
Yes.
And we had a big dinner. The bad thing is none of us took pictures.
Yeah.
Right.
We
Yeah.
did not like back in those days. We did things. We didn't.
Yeah.
we weren't sitting there for the
your
open.
turn. We didn't
sitting
have
there.
one of these things.
No,
right?
we didn't do that. We didn't do that. I
But
know
you-
now that's the way the world works, but we didn't do that back then.
Well,
You
and
know,
actually-
that reminds me because Dr. Winston LaRose has a vast archive of video and pictures
he needs
of like
he needs
decades
to-
of.
yeah, man.
We have to
that-
get that
yeah,
digitized.
so that has to be curated. Like it reminds me, and we'll get to our
Yeah.
subject more. Many years ago, I had a chance to sit down with a gentleman who was a server at the original Underground Railroad restaurant.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, and we were talking, and he had a satchel bag, and I go like, "What's in the bag?" Is I brought something I want to show you, and he pulled out an original menu that he still had from the restaurant.
Gotcha.
I went and I said, "Put it away." And now I'm sure he's transitioned now, but I said, "Man, if I would have had a camera, I may have. I'd have to really dig deep. I may have a picture of that. I'm not sure, but definitely these memories and treasures. There would be a nice idea starting a museum with all these memories. We need a black museum.
Kathy Grant.
Kathy Grant.
Kathy Grant has been digitizing a lot of stuff like that. There's another gentleman by the name of Eddie Grant.
Yes,
the
long time photographer. Yes,
he just turned 90 the other day. Who has
How old?
plethora. 90. He doesn't
What?
look anywhere past.
He
60.
don't look 90 years.
He's 90 years old.
Right.
Another gentleman who recorded audio with Carl Mullings before he passed,
Okay.
and he has his wife unfortunately just passed away.
No.
She just passed away a couple days ago. So
That's
condolences down
Carrie.
to Carrie and
no.
Tanya's mother and father unfortunately have passed.
Whoa.
Yeah, they
And,
both
I
passed.
keep on, once in a while, like up to a few weeks ago, Carrie dropped into one of my shows that I got to get in touch with, and I wanted to have her on. Now, here's the other interesting connection, Jonathan. My dad, who you know, and her father were once part of the original group that formed the Cornwall College Old Boys Association Toronto chapter.
Wow, I'm gonna give you one too. You ready for this one? Okay. My brother-in-law's brother, Winston, produced tracks for Tanya.
Wow. I gotta call her today, and I gotta tell my dad. I like, wow, like my dad and Carl Mullins, and there's actually a park in his name in Brampton.
Yes, there is. You know,
Wow.
music is my life. Music is my life was the saying.
Yeah, Carl Mullins. Wow. Hayton Morrison goes, anyone who can talk about PSDs is actually definitely old school. Yes, Hayton.
Hold on, what did I miss? What's PFDs?
PWDs.
PWDs.
It's okay.
Yeah. Go. Maybe it's in Wikipedia. Maybe.
I feel like, should I Google this now?
I'll just say this. Across the street from there, at 88 Yorkville Avenue, is now where a jeweler is from Toronto. So that's all you need to know. There's a jeweler in that place. But for people like us who know that area, that was prime clubbing real estate back then.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. We'll just,
All right. Let's get to our main conversation
Okay.
topic. So Juice Man, company, I know you have probably some things to do, at least one thing to do. How much time do you have comfortably?
I'm good. I'm basically like right now I'm just kind of going with the flow today. Like everything I wanted to do today is not gonna happen. So I'm like, and it feels as though the universe is basically saying stop fighting and just kind of going with it. And sometimes we like It's not the universe that's going out of control. It's us, right? So sometimes we have to stop and reset and just take life as it comes. And what you can get done is what you can get done, and what you can't get done is what you can't get done. I had to learn that the hard way, because a lot of us, especially Black men, we love to be a salmon fighting upstream. And sometimes we need to just stop and reset and do the cold boot, as they called it, and then, just turn it off, sit down, take 5, and come back and do what we got to do.
All right. So we may have some time, other than what the story we want you to chat about. Maybe there's some other things we're wanting to chat about. You may have some comments on. So Jonathan has had a very unique lens on the melanated refugees.
I want to clarify that just a little bit, because what it is that I was not one of the organizers of any of this. I just kind of I actually was on Instagram, and a friend of mine posted that they're going to be doing an event at the JCA. And it was basically him and his friends who had a conversation to say, we can't let these individuals sleep on the street. And one of the individuals quoted Peter Tosh that says, as long as you're Black, you're African. And is one of the lyrics of one of his songs. And he basically was saying that we need to do something for them. And I called him on the phone and got the information of another organizer. And last week, Thursday, at the JCA, the dance hall community is what they call themselves. Promoters, people who go to dances and that sort of stuff, decided to get together and do what they could to raise money and funds, and to basically get donations. So they had a cube truck parked outside, and they had another, and they had, like, for the bigger stuff that really wouldn't fit into, like, they basically had it for food. That's what they had it for. But they noticed that people weren't just bringing, like, food items and that sort of stuff. People were bringing they asked for it. They didn't think they'd get it, but they got pillows. They got sleeping bags. They got beds. Like, somebody stacked up like 5 beds.
Okay.
Like mattresses, and they put those on the stage, and then they had they had fans, they had other things that they would need, feminine, whatever. And they packed the van. And then they had to put they had to put the other stuff on the stage. So I had taken pictures just to hold on to, just to say, hey, in less than 24 hours, they were able to organize this stuff just by having an idea. And I looked at that and I said to myself, this is how the movements, the things that were done back in the 1960s, the 50s, the 20s, whatever it is, got started. People had an idea and they just did it. And what I've been finding that's been happening lately is people are asking questions like, okay, so who's doing this? Who's doing that? Who's doing whatever? And one thing that I learned from an organization that I belong to, the Lions Circle, is own your suggestion. If you thought about it, do it. Get it done.
Right.
Just get it done. And that's another gentleman in our group says the same thing. That's what we actually call him, Get It Done Colin, because that's what Colin will tell you, right? Oh, you know what? You should do that. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. You know what? Own your suggestion. Speak from the word I and get it done. Instead of waiting for everybody else to do it, just get it done.
All right. We are broadcasting live and also broadcasting for a bit on Instagram on the Morning Vibe, July 28th, where myself, Ryan Knight, we co-host this together on Monday and Friday mornings at 9 a.m. We have a special guest, for me, a special friend, the Juiceman Jonathan Shaw. Want to say welcome to people on IG, Keep the Wealth Melanated, Kid Unified. Good morning. I sent you an email yesterday for some good news, so you've probably responded to it if you haven't yet. And also Convo Media, also on the Instagram Live. We're going to broadcast a little bit this on Instagram Live, but if you want to get your full conversation and the replay, go to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification button. And we also have some people here Hayden Morrison goes, and now their brother's kicking wisdom. Yes, he does kick a lot of wisdom. And then Divine Right from the DMV. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So Jonathan, you've been involved in the efforts. What were some of the things that what are going on in your mind and your heart? And also, you want to talk about a dog.
All right. Yes. Jeez.
It's up to you if you want to talk about a dog.
I've had some time to calm down. So
you don't have to calm down.
You know, but things bother me, and a lot of times, and God rest her soul, my mom says, you know, my mom used to always say to me, Jonathan, like the way you speak sometimes, you don't mince words, and you came and sometimes she's like, you know what, tone it down. So it's the morning right now. I don't want to aggravate anybody, but I really gotta ask a question. That we did this wonderful ceremony for a dog that they say was killed in the line of duty. That's and I sat there for a second and I said, the dog wanted to be trained to be a police officer, right? Maybe.
Sure. Okay.
You know, was there an SIU investigation done to find out how this dog passed away? You're just saying, you know, this person shot the dog. Okay. The dog wasn't caught in friendly fire, seeing as though the two of you guys were shooting back and forth. The man just sat there and said, oh, bang, I want to shoot this dog. Okay, fine. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but, and I don't want to offend anybody, but one of the things that bothers me is we treat animals at times better than we treat human beings. And as a media person who thinks of what is top of mind all the time, whether it be commercials, you know, when I write a commercial, I have to come up with copy points. I ask, what's your key marketing challenge? What are you doing? And all the other sort of stuff, whatever. Every single news outlet, every hour on the hour, spoke about this dog bingo. I know more about this dog bingo than I do about the human beings who were on the street. I don't know the names of the refugees, nor should I. I don't know what conditions they're in right now. Outside of the factor is that they're at one church in the city. Remember what I said? Sorry, 2 churches in the city. And some of them are other places. That's what I know. The reporting,
and we lost him for a second, and he's back.
No, I think he's all right.
The reporting that we have with regard to this has been very sparse, to say the least. You know, again, you know, there's been funding for this dog. There's people who brought their dog down to watch this dog send off. They had a motorcade for this dog. They've done all these things for the dog. They've had police all over the place for this dog. Okay, I understand that. However, the human beings, there was not that fanfare done for these individuals. These people who left their homes, their home country, that was in turmoil, or whatever reason they used to come here as a refugee. They come to this country that is supposed to be, you know, Canada, first world country. Toronto's supposed to be the cleanest city. Sorry, Toronto's supposed to be one of the cleanest cities in the world. Okay, wonderful. But I still don't want to sleep on it. Exactly. I still don't want to raise my family on it. I don't want to be outside, you know, in 40-degree weather, because I've come with all my belongings, the things that I have. I've left my country, you know what I mean? And they're sitting on the street. And everybody says, well, how do they, look how they take care. I don't care how other people are taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
I care about how my people are taken care of. And if I wouldn't want that for myself, I wouldn't want it for anybody else. So that's why I believe that we as Black people have an obligation to take care of our own. And we have a tendency of doing things that make no sense to me, but become very skeptical when it comes to doing stuff for ourselves. And after our conversation last night, Dr. Vibe, a lot of things hit me that really bothered me. And that is on Facebook, when the crisis happened in the Ukraine, people of with melanated skin were putting up the flag on their Instagram, their Facebook. People were sharing the link and where you could, give money to and all these different things and Ray-Tay-Tay and blah, blah, blah. And during a conversation that I was having on IG Live on another platform, we were talking about giving donations to the, coming down and giving donations at the JCA. And a pastor basically said, you can't mix religion with dancehall. And I was like, what?
Okay.
That, unfortunately, took 45 minutes for people to kind of calm down and get back on topic about dealing with, whatever. And these distractions are what at times cause us not to help, not to do the things that we need to do for our own people. It's the division amongst ourselves. And I'm going to go back to what I said before. You have 200 people who are now over at a church. It's been reported that they only have 2 washrooms, one for men, one for women. One gentleman who was there, they reported he left and went back downtown because he says, it's too crowded there. So he's going to stay where he can, where it's better for him. Then because they posted a picture of one gentleman getting a hotel room where, he's happy. I was like, okay, well, what happened to the other 199? And now, and basically it's the 15 seconds of fame of reporting is gone. And now we're on to how hot it is in Toronto. But you were complaining just the other day that it was cold because of all the snow and all the other sort of stuff, whatever. We're dealing with the derailment. We're dealing with this stuff, whatever the case may be. So our 15 seconds, because people in Toronto have, the attention span of a goldfish, decided that, okay, we don't need to talk about that anymore.
I was curious where you feel the disconnect is with, one, the media reporting, and then 2, the response from the Black community. Like, where are you seeing the difference between the 2 issues, like the Ukrainians coming in and our people being here?
I mean, it's multi-layered, but I think the one thing is, and again, I'm no expert. This is just my own opinion. I feel that at times we don't, how do I put it? We look at it as everybody else's problem.
Okay.
That's number one. We look at it as everybody else's problem. And we're quick to do what's popular. We're quick to, Instagram, TikTok, all those things are all about challenges. So if there's a challenge, we all do it. We don't know why we're doing it. We all took water and threw it on our head because it was the ice bucket challenge.
Gotcha.
Right? What I mean? We do TikTok videos. We do all these different things. So if it's in vogue to do, then people go out and do it. But I think that's one of the disconnects. Another thing too, unfortunately, within our own community, we are our own worst enemies in the sense that, we are skeptical of our own. And it's something that's been inbred within ourselves. We don't trust. And if you don't have trust within your own people, what does that say for yourself? Right? Your beliefs, your beliefs become your thoughts become your emotions become your actions become your results. If you don't trust as your belief, you will have zero results in life, period. And until we change that as a community, it's always going to be the same thing. There are organizations, and I want to say this, there are smaller organizations who are doing the work, who are going out there, who are doing the little things. You're not going to hear about them because nobody's going to sit there with a camera and publicize it, nor should they. Nor should they. We should not be going to places where, you know, marginalized people are and doing it as a photo op. If you want to say, well, hey, we dropped off this much clothing and whatever, take it and go. Right? Well, we shouldn't be sitting there with a camera, you know, photographing the people and saying, hey, look what we did. Hey, let's do our selfie, you know, whatever the case may be, and then, you know, we can go about your business. That's not what this is about. This is not what this is about. Don't do that. Don't do that. We're supposed to help. That's what we're supposed to do, right? There are many churches in this community. Why are the people only at one? That's a question I have, right?
Valid.
There may be reasons for it, right? I know that, as I won't say former, but as a person who went to church, people paid tithes all the time. One portion of it was supposed to go for the church maintenance. Another portion was supposed to go for the diocese, and another portion was supposed to be to do outreach work. So where is that portion going right now? Why are the doors closed when you have churches big like the Sky Dome to put people in? You know what I mean? You can broadcast every single Sunday or Saturday to tens of thousands of people. You have the auditoriums to do it. I've not heard from you. I've not seen you out there saying, hey, bring them here.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break in regard to the conversation. We're going to stop the broadcast on IG Live. Thanks, because and you know this is hot, so you may want to go over to the YouTube channel to catch it live or the replay. But thank you for watching a bit of the Morning Vibe today, July 28th, on Instagram Live. As always, remember to give yourself grace. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And you know, I may come back and do a part 2 of this because the conversation is so rich. Take care. Then also what we're going to do is we're going to give Jonathan a little bit of a break. We're going to play a little bit of a spot here of a new friend of the Morning Vibe. And for some reason, he likes me, but take a listen.
You know, and that's what I feel like. You feel like you're the Harriet Tubman of the mind.
I am.
I feel like I'm I'm one of the Harriet Tubmans of intelligent Black people. Like, I want to liberate y'all from like being left behind and ignored and oblivion. Now, really, the rappers get all the attention. You know, seriously, does anybody else feel this way? Like ignorant Black people, they'll be all up, you know, getting all the headlines on the Shade Room.
Overly sexualized Black folks.
Like the twerkers and the, you know, just people that, you know, don't always represent the best of us, you know, the diversity, you know, like people like Dr. Vibe. Like, everybody should know about people like Dr. Vibe. Dr.
Really
Vibe he's trying to do good work for Black people.
Dr. Vibe from Toronto. Good to see you, my brother. Dr. Vibe. Everybody follow Dr. Vibe. He has a great show. He's very good at what he does, and I have a lot of respect for him.
Okay, so let me hop into this. What's up, Dr. Vibe? How you doing? Everybody, if you see Dr. Vibe in the chat, everybody go follow the Dr. Vibe show. Dr. Vibe is a real smart brother and a good human being. I like the guy a lot, and he's very intelligent. And I think everyone should pay attention to what he's got going on. We got to shine the spotlight on the intelligent Black people out here that are really doing the good work. Don't just pay attention to the rappers and the celebrities. You know, a lot of these people are losers. Your true winners are your people in your community that are really having your back. You know, helping us to have stronger families and a stronger community. So Dr. Vibe is in that category. So you might see the Dr. Vibe show in this chat. If you see him, please go follow him. Okay. All right. So anyway.
All right. We are back. And that's a little promo break. With Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. And I'm very humbled that they like Dr. Vibe and what the Dr. Vibe's doing with all his posse. With all the posse here. So we're back here with Ryan and the Juice Man, Jonathan Shaw. We're talking about what's been going down over the last little bit in regards to this situation about the melanated refugees in Toronto. Got to catch up because comments have come in here. So let's just catch up. Want to say good morning to Dr. Tachi, who hosts the livest program about media, tech, and pop culture online called Mediascope, which is on 5 p.m. on Instagram Live on Wednesdays. And this is Eastern time. And then 6 p.m. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, and other platforms. Dr. Tachi, I hope you're keeping cool. She's in Florida and she don't got air conditioning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and it's hot everywhere. Yes, exactly. Sophia Jacob from Ottawa says, good morning. Also says, there's a couple of reasons for that. They don't have to say it. We all know why. She loved the quote that you shared of that pastor, or found it interesting, saying you can't mix religion with dance hall. Roger Dunda says, about something. Sophia Jacob says crabs in a barrel. Sophia says the church collection plate, quote, building fund, unquote.
But the building closes when it's needed. Like, that's where it doesn't make it that. Yeah, and even who, and when I say it now, I might have to claim it, but who can organize and say, like, where are all the churches, and who's on the phone to them to say, like, hey, this is what's needed. As things happen like this, that should be an automatic call. It's like, hey, the building's not being used for 6 days of the week. Like, why aren't we using that as a priority or a protocol that when a person is displaced, we know where to place them, and then we can put the supports around them, get them on their feet, and get them into stable housing situation. Like, it's shocking to me that churches wouldn't see themselves as a place to now execute things like that.
The go-to place?
If you calculate the 6 days they're closed over the years that they've been around, that's a lot of unused inventory that we could be using to stabilize our community. But yes, as it comes out my mouth, your words are echoing in my mind, Juice Man. So I might have to.
As I said, listen. Again, my job as a creative director, when I write commercials or put out narrations or any of that sort of stuff, is to get you to do this. Once I do this, I got you. Right? So I'm basically going to say what I'm thinking. I want other people to start asking the same questions. And that is, and I thought about it for a second, right? The JCA is a building this big, right? There's a building right beside it on Arrow Road that is this big. Okay.
I know the building he's talking. Ryan, do you know the building?
We see it.
Okay.
So the first time I saw it, I was like, "Wow, yo, they're building a new sports stadium." They're like,
okay. It's at that level.
I was like, really? Right? And then if I go down the road a little bit, right by like Keel and Wilson area, there's another huge one.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, so Juice Man, you have concerns.
You hear what I'm saying now, right?
100%.
Then hold on a second.
All right, you got time.
Then I'm saying to myself, okay, all right, cool. There's many organizations that every year do these massive award celebrations.
Oh, galas. The Gala King. Well, Ryan's nickname is the Gala King, so you can speak to him on this.
I know say that they're not going to give me nothing, so I'm not worried about that. I'm good, right?
That makes two of us.
They're not giving me nothing, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? I know that I've had boots on the ground for a long time. I've done my work. And I'm tired right now, right? I'm tired. And I'm tired because there's a lot of people in this community who've done a lot of work. And they're never going to win an award. But they're out there doing their thing. And I'm just one person. And I'm not even talking about me. I'm just saying I wish I had the money so this didn't happen anymore.
Mm.
I wish I could write a check and make this all go away. I wish I had that type of money. When that $70 million came up the other day, I was like, you know what I'd do with it, right? I would have a place big enough and put my money back into the community so we don't deal with this stuff anymore.
Mm.
So we're organized. Well, we don't have to keep going and saying beg for funding and all this other sort of stuff, because I'm tired of this. I'm really tired of us. I'm really tired of us saying it's somebody else in our community's problem. You know what I mean? But hey, come this week. I'm doing this thing. Right? Or I can hand out a flyer for a dance, but I can't hand out a flyer to save my people.
Don't care.
I can put out a collection. I can put out a collection plate and ask for funding to do this and this, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the same God that I serve wants us to serve others. And it shouldn't just be one or two people doing it. It should be everybody. And my passion is going to get me in trouble. And I don't really care right now because I'm 55 years old and I got 10 years left before I retire. Or if I could retire tomorrow, I would.
Mm.
But I'm still out here fighting for you. I'm still out here doing my stuff, right? I'm still out here doing what I got to do. And I'm just one man, right? I don't drive no fancy car. I live in a basement apartment. I don't have much. That's real. But I've had those things. I don't have them anymore. And I know what it's like to feel like, where are you going? What are you going to do tomorrow? Whether it's self-induced or whatever, that feeling of not having anywhere to go is a real thing for people, especially in today's economy, right? I've lived in a 5-bedroom house and then had to sleep on somebody's couch. You know what I mean? I know what that's like. You can be displaced for whatever reason. You could lose your job. You know what I mean? You could have an illness. You could have all these things. And as we get older, you know what I mean? We all could be in a position where we need somebody else to even go to the washroom. Right? Yeah. My girl just had surgery last week, Friday. And, lost the use of her arm because she's doing rotator cuff surgery. I know she's going to kill me for saying this, but.
Hey, I got a couch for you.
She can't, no. She can't, when you don't have the use of your arm, you can't even pull up your underwear. You have to have somebody else do it. And I'm thinking there for a second, while she's going through this, she has a job, she has a car, she has a house, but she needs help. These people don't have a car, they don't have a house, they're sleeping on the street. Not right.
Respect.
It's not right. It's not like that. That's a human being you have out there. That's a human being that's out there, and we're not helping the way we should. Like, we've all went to the grocery store and bought whatever. Like, honestly, right now, Aki is $4.99 at No Frills. Go buy 2, because one can was $9 last week, and bring one down there. Bring one down there. You know what I mean? We all have things that we don't use.
True.
Deodorant. You know what I mean? You buy 2, take 1, bring down there. Do whatever you got to do. You know what I mean? If you know somebody who has like a porta potty company, washroom.
Right.
Yeah.
As a father, you know how hard it is to change a baby without a change table in a washroom, especially a
Yo.
male washroom,
Uh,
where there's no space, there's no privacy, there's no nothing, right? Whatever the situation is, let's fix it once and for all. There shouldn't be one church. There should be churches. There shouldn't be a few organizations. It should be organizations, right? And if you can drop $300 or $400 to go to one of those tea and crumpet parties, take that $300 and just send it to the church. If you don't want anybody else's hand to get it, or go yourself and do something, so that when they ask the question, you know, what have you done? You can say what you've done. Sorry, I just lost my screen there for a second.
Yeah, no problem.
But and that's that. You know, that's that.
Okay, just to catch up with comments, because people do have things to say as always on the Morning Vibe. Sophia says it's up to church members to keep the leadership of their church accountable. Roger says about the galas, it's a circle jerk. Same people getting the awards. Fitness IQ Cam is enjoying what you're sharing. And she says $4.99 for Atenaki. Where?
No frills. But again, you see what caught your
Jonathan's
attention
just
though.
frozen for a second. I think we got him. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm hearing okay.
Yeah. But
Okay.
you see what caught your attention though.
Uh,
That should not catch your attention. The factor is, and that's another thing too. Our priorities are at the wrong place. The $4.99 Aki caught you, but nothing else I said was. I don't want to pick on you, but the $4.99 Aki should have not caught your attention. The factor is, there's people on the street should have caught your attention.
But you also mentioned if you want dollars to get directly to the source, like go down with it yourself. And we've seen organizations, and again, I might get in trouble, but Black North has now gone down there and said, hey, we're taking point and donate through us. What are your thoughts on organizations going down there and now positioning themselves for the flow of money? And now we're not clear on where that money is going.
Are you clear as to where your money goes with United Way? Are you clear with where your money goes to with when it comes to any sort of relief fund? The bottom line is you gave. You gave. Right? Your conscience is clear that you gave. We'll deal with the accounting later, but you gave. You did something where you gave. And unfortunately, with a lot of times, is we get ourselves all into, you know, we go into our head a lot when it comes to, again, as I said at the beginning, trust. We don't need to do that. If you want to go down there, go down there. You know, like the people, you know, like you gave them food for a day, but they need to eat every day. I wrote a commercial once where I said, you know what? I beg for money with the same cup that you discarded. You know what I mean? You're going to sit down and remember that I needed to eat at Christmas. You're going to remember that I needed to eat at Thanksgiving. But I need to eat 365 days a year, 3 meals a day. And people seem to forget about that at times. I need to sleep in a bed. I remember, you know, I'll even talk it. I remember sleeping on an air mattress and being in a room one time and sleeping on this air mattress. And where I was staying at the time had electric heat. So if you put the mattress too close to the thing would melt. And I remember I looked at the temperature and said, hey, it's going to be cold tonight. And I went in that room and I was like, okay, I put on my tracksuit. I had on my hat. I was like, okay, it's cold in here. It's cold, right? And I said, you know what? I got to turn up the heat, man. I got to turn up the heat. And I turned up the heat in the place, and woke up the next morning, and I was flat on the ground because that mattress melted.
Oh,
Wow.
You know what I mean? And
Yes.
yeah, and I went and bought another. I went and had to go buy another mattress and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, again, it humbles you. It humbles you. Have you ever been outside for an extended period of time when it's at night? You know what I mean? Walking or having to just stay in one place. Like, have you ever waited for a bus and you're like, yo, the bus is supposed to come at like 9 o'clock, and all of now it's like 9:20 and the bus don't reach yet, and you're doing this, you're huddled and you're doing this, or it's hot outside, you have no water, you're doing whatever, and you're like, man, it's hot, and it's no more than 20 minutes or an hour. But these individuals are outside longer than that, dealing with those conditions day after day. And this is what I'm trying to say to everybody is, you have your car, you have your air conditioning, you have your fan, you have a roof over your head. You say, you know, whether you say thank God or to the Creator, or you don't say anything. But by the factor is that you're watching this right now, you have certain things that other people don't have right now. So if you have, break off some for the have-nots.
Okay. Anthony Mitchell says, I'm in, Vibe, let's go. Fitness IQ says, Cam says, it did catch my attention when I did the hands up. And someone says, hello, Jonathan. Lorraine Tellisford. Hi, Jonathan from Lorraine. Good to see you.
Long time.
Yeah.
Very long time. Very
Sophia
long
says the city really needed to figure out this situation out, because soon and very soon winter shall return. Well, I agree with that. Not only the city, but I think we like, you know, we have to figure out how we're going to help these people more, because right now, just from my lens, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's a short-term solution right now.
Correct.
You know, we got to think, and this reminds me a little bit of when the pandemic hit and a lot of businesses and nonprofits, some of us have this challenge. We don't think long-term sustainability, because right now all the energy, and rightfully, is a stopgap, but there needs to be something longer, and something that we, people who look like us, are directly involved in the decision-making process.
Do you remember what happened in 2005 in New Orleans?
Yes.
Okay. The world saw that, right?
Continue, because Roger Dundas has brought up a point that was in my alleged mind that we got to chat about too. Keep on going.
Okay. Well, the world saw that, right? Okay. The world. Okay. Remember that. The world saw that in 2005. What year are we in right now?
2023.
How many disasters have happened since 2005?
Many.
Okay. How many people have been displaced since 2005?
Many.
And the government has, and the government still doesn't know what to do.
I will agree with you on that, but also we need to know what to do. Like, if we're relying on
that part too,
right? If we're relying on the government, and we'll probably talk about another time, like, we rely on the government, and they just had a cabinet shuffle, so things could just change on a dime in regards to the government. So I wish we had more skin in the game, especially in this situation.
Goes back,
whether it's church,
but again,
or church, for profit organizations. Now, maybe there's stuff we're not seeing going on in the background. Point taken.
There's always stuff going on in the background.
Exactly.
I understand that, but again, there's a bigger thing that's happening.
Yes. Now,
how do you get people on board? Information, right? When you don't control your narrative,
That's why I do this platform. Yep.
Exactly.
Right?
So
When
talk-
you don't have, when
Go
you,
ahead.
when you have your resources on a level, right? But you're talking about TV stations, radio stations, all these different things who have billions of dollars. They have money to dash away, as one of my friends says.
True.
They got money to dash away. Like literally. They can turn around and bring you into a room, 3,000 people at one time and say, hey, you're all fired here, take your package, goodbye. So basically they just dashed away all those resources and whatever, and go back and hire back people on part-time basis and save money, because that's what everybody wants to do. So they got money to dash away.
Mm-hmm.
But the reporting of things like this, as you've alluded to, Dr. Vibes, how do we know what's happening when we don't hear about it? How do we hear about organizations like yourself, like the other small organizations that are doing stuff, when we don't have the time or the money or the resources to be out there spending 33% of our dollars to do stuff? We don't have that money. We don't have that money. We're too busy doing and trying to say, well, hey, I need a new computer right now. Like, I really need a new computer. I need to continue to do this. Okay, I got to pay my internet bill. I got to make sure that I do this. Oh gosh, they're raising this cost of this. Okay, I got to go deal with that.
Right.
We don't, you know what I mean? Plus, we're trying to take care, and I get it. But there has to be more done, and we always say that. But that more that needs to be done has to be done with more love. We need to do it from a standpoint of love. And that's it. And that's the biggest problem right now. It shouldn't be done for self-gratification. It should be done out of love. It shouldn't be done for political reasons. It should be done because it's the right thing to do.
Less symbolism, more substance.
Exactly.
100%.
Okay, got some comments here. Hayden goes, Jonathan, thanks for your very real talk and your passion for us. Now, Roger makes some good comments. No, thank you. I'll give direct. And he says, Jonathan, I don't give to those organizations.
Okay.
And it brings up a very interesting thing that's going on. Well, in the U.S., they have this whole thing about reparations. And in the state of California, they're debating it in their government. And there's, the point comes up, would it be better to give donations directly to these recipients instead of it going through an organization? And you never know what goes on at the organization level to those recipients.
It's a catch-22. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And yeah, the stuff should go directly to the recipients. But you know where the recipients are. You know exactly where they are. And you can make donations directly there. That's not something that anybody can do. You can bring down stuff. Nobody's stopping you from bringing down anything. Nobody said, the only thing that they're saying is don't bring down clothes. That's the only thing that they've been saying not to do. But hey, man,
Ryan,
body wash and deodorant. You can do all that stuff.
Ryan and I were having a conversation yesterday, and he brought up something that really made me shake my head. So, Ryan, can you share that? What you shared?
Oh, is this what you're gonna? Is this what you're gonna get me upset?
Well, this is where I'm hearing
hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
He's got some water. Oh no. No, not water. What did he bring?
What did you have to get to prepare yourself?
Oh, he's brought his earbuds.
Go on. Okay.
It's Tylenol.
Excedrin migraine. Central tension headache. Go on, talk.
And this is where I'm hoping that this has stopped. But volunteers that have gone down have been telling me that they're getting charged to go inside. Like, I think it was $5 entry. So this is where when wrong organizations step in front, this is what starts to happen. I was just saying, so this is where
Yeah, Juice Man. When I heard that,
hold on. Listen, okay, my West Indian ancestry, you know, all of a sudden my ears stopped working, right? So I didn't hear what you said. So could you wheel that for me, please?
So this is where
hold on.
Yes.
Hold on.
So to go down and volunteer, people were being charged, I believe it was $5 to get in. So this, and again, I'm hoping that it stopped, but that's what was happening.
Were they asked to make a donation? Was that kind of the aspect?
I'm hoping, but I didn't hear exactly how they were asked, or maybe it was, hey, make a donation.
I know last week Thursday, we asked everybody who was stopping by who wanted to come inside to make a $5 donation, regardless.
okay,
like even if you're dropping off stuff, please also make a cash donation.
Okay. Yes.
Okay,
And
maybe
then-
that's it then.
And now this was at the JCA. This was at the JCA.
Oh, I don't
This
think it was
was
at the
this was at the JCA event that I did. I know that that's what we were doing, right? That they made that very clear, that they said, hey, we're doing an event. The minimum is $5, but you're saying that at where
church.
they're being housed,
Right. It wasn't at the JCA.
they're charged a $5 gate fee.
I hope they didn't call it a gate fee.
I don't. I'm just
Whatever
telling you
they
what it is.
call it.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you what it is. I'm saying, listen, you're charging admission to go see
And
refugees, because that's how my brain interpreted that. I don't care what the wording is you said. The reality is that you're charging admission to do that. I hope that that's not true.
And that's where maybe I misunderstood why the person was charged. Maybe it was a suggestion and they took it as an admission fee, but that's what was happening. So hopefully that has stopped.
In a way, I hope it doesn't, because things cost money. But I get it, but I think that the wording or whatever was asked was, and again, I don't want to say anything out of turn, because we don't have anything written as to what was said, and you're doing a thing called hearsay, that can lead to more misinformation.
Yeah.
And I've heard so much misinformation, so I to say it correctly in the media, it is alleged that this went on. Right. And unfortunately, people forget that word alleged too. But when you said it the way you said it, all of a sudden you made me do this. and I was ready to hear that. And now my head is starting to hurt me again, because again, I want my brain to kind of just not really have to deal with the isms, schisms with regard to this, right? The goal is to have every single refugee who comes from wherever they come from have the proper documentation that they can go to work, feed their family, and have a roof over their head. It sounds very simple, but how do you get it done?
Well, and that's where that process, that protocol must be documented somewhere. And my question is, okay, who's in charge of making sure that happens when people do come here? Because that's where I'm seeing the disorganization of this group of people when they've come now. Who's walking them through the process? Because somebody helped them get here, and now when they're here, somehow it got disconnected to continue the process. So for us, maybe it's like on myself to learn more about how this actually works so that we can help in the right ways. And I know ACBN, we're more focused on trying to help with employment and talking with the employment agencies to say, okay, what are the things that they need to start to work? But who's in charge of making sure that those things happen? That's where I feel like I'm still learning what this whole flow and this process is for refugees when they come to Canada, because clearly it's not happening.
Listen. We all know that there's issues with systems because people who are in systems here have to wait for things that happen on a daily basis. I mean, we're seeing, other stories are, I don't want to take it too far this way and too far that way, but I mean, if you hurt yourself right now and you go to the hospital, good luck. You know what I mean? I called the ambulance the other day and they put me on hold.
All right.
Literally, I was like, what is this?
Yes.
You could be waiting half an hour to 45 minutes for an ambulance.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? I'm like, really? And I mean, mind you, I was downtown Toronto in an area where, it's the weekend, it's this and that, whatever. It's a long weekend. Unfortunately, that's what happens. But again, there's a crisis and you have to wait.
Right.
And those seconds, depending on what it is, whatever. When you're hungry, you're hungry. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
When you want to go to the bathroom, you got to go.
Yes.
You know what it's like, you're doing this thing like this in the car. Sometimes your belly's cutting you. You're in the car like this and doing this while you're driving. We've all done this while we're driving.
And just because you see your house, then it starts to flow.
All of a sudden, your belly and everything just start going sideways and whatever. Then you reach the door, and all of a sudden, it's like, whoa!
I'm not there yet.
We've all been there. You've not been there? Okay, cool. I hope it never happens to you.
No, I'm saying like when you see the door, your body feels like you're already in the bathroom.
Totally.
Like, yo, I'm not in the bathroom yet.
Totally. So we know that there's problems. We know that there's problems with things that affect us.
Yeah.
And we live here.
Yep.
We pay taxes here.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So if there's things that we have to deal with, I mean, all we have to do is just go on Eglinton and say that, hey, this thing is broken, boss.
Yep.
All you have to do is just go down Eglinton Avenue or go on Finch, and you know the system is broken. All you have to do is say to yourself, you know what? Like a lot of times, I've been in situations where I've had to say, no, I'm not going to the hospital today. I'm not going. Whatever I'm dealing with right now, I'm going to soldier it through and go to my doctor on Monday. Because to wait in that environment to go see somebody is ridiculous. So again, magnify that to people who, quote unquote, don't have an OHIP card yet to go to the doctor, or any of those things that we, take for granted that we can just go and do. If I want to apply for a job, hey, I got my SIN number, I got this, I got that, whatever. I want to stay in a hotel, I got a credit card, boom, whatever. I can go on my phone, I can do all that sort of stuff. If you don't have any of those things, how do you get it done? And where do you go, as you were saying?
True.
Well, as we start winding it down, Juice Man, you've, I think, throughout given solutions, but what is the next step for us melanated people with this situation? What do you feel is the next step we need to do?
I'm going to take it back to a book that I read by Donald Willard Moore, who brought my Aunt B, the first immigrant Black nurse from the West Indies, into Canada. And it was a process of getting her to come to Canada. And he warned her about all the things she would need to have when she got here. And it was a very simple and concise letter, because back then they wrote letters, of how you go about coming to Canada and what to wear and what to expect when you arrive here. And also, maybe we need to do, and again, I don't know the process. I'm just coming up with my solution. That when refugees come here, you meet them at the airport, you take them from that airport, you bring them into a place, or wherever that may be, where all their documentation is there. And you take each one of them and you say, this is where you want to go. You good? All right. If you need to find me, here's my number. And you go about your business. But you take them through the whole entire process. And that process, and again, I'm just speaking from my own experience, Have you ever gotten a letter from the government and had to fill out some stuff, and you're looking at it like, I don't know what's on this piece of paper? And it's actually, it's like you need an interpreter to learn how to fill out this form. And yes, there are agencies and places that you can go to get this form filled out. It would be really nice if somebody filled that form out to you, or helped you fill out that form, or sat with you and said, what's your name? What's this? Da 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 da. Okay, here's your documentation. Because what's been happening a lot of times is the red tape to get all these documents, because there's not enough people on the back end filling the requests. It's not like you could, you know what I mean? Hey, you can go in and get your driver's license. If you need to renew your driver's license, they stamp, boom, boom, whatever they say, hey, 46 weeks or whatever, you get your other thing.
Yeah.
But if you need your passport, oh my gosh, you got to go in, you got to wait, you got to do this, you got to take pictures, whatever, wait, whatever. Okay, that's your passport. You need this, whatever. Like, the processes when it comes to getting certain documents to do the simplest of things takes way too long.
I'm going to interject. I just renewed my passport.
Yeah.
And I went in there. I didn't have the forms. I had everything done within 2 hours.
Really?
Yes. And if I would have had the forms and filled them out ahead of time, now again, I would have had everything done within half an hour.
Nice.
But
nice.
I got everything done within 2 hours. So
okay,
fitness,
so they fixed
and
that.
I didn't have. I had to go to a place in the mall to get my pictures taken. Still, it only took hour and a half, 2 hours max. And I did everything right there.
Because I passed the passport office near where I live, and that line is forever.
No. I went to a place.
Don't tell you what it is. Don't tell you what it is, because we need to keep that between us. We need to keep that between us.
All right.
Hey,
all right.
you know,
So
hey,
if people are in the GTA and they want to go to a place where you can, well, they said it was a little bit of a quieter day, but still, I've always went to get my passport renewed. It's farther away than from where I live, and it just everything done. Like I said, I had to fill out forms while I was there. 2 hours, photos, everything done, and it's going to be with me in 2 weeks. Done.
Okay. So do you have to wait in the line for 2 hours, or what was
no?
it?
Well, so when I was in line, I went right first in one. Like I went 45 minutes before the place. There was a line, but the line moved fast.
Okay. Hear what I heard what you just said. Hear what you just said. You had to go 45 minutes before the place opened.
Yeah.
And I hear you, but listen to what you're saying. Listen to what you're saying. See, that part you left out.
But okay, let me tell you something though. When I was in there waiting to go to a kiosk after I filled it, there was no one there. It just flowed.
Understood. But here's what you're saying. You had to still get there 45 minutes before that place.
Yeah.
Okay. And you stood in line. Again, you are an able-bodied man. If you are not an able-bodied person, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
You gotta find a way.
Yeah, I get you.
You know what I mean? So sometimes I listen to what people say, and I still have to dissect it, because the factor is that there's still a wait time. Regardless, I understand that. You know what I mean? Like I went to a government office, I went to the police station, and I wanted to get something, or I went to the courthouse, and you got to pick a number and whatever, and I feel like I'm at the European meat shop at Kensington Market back in the day, waiting for my time to go up. And I'm not trying to make a joke about it, but the solution sometimes are that if somebody is new to Canada,
knowledge,
they don't know.
I know that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the knowledge.
And again, if the forms are hard for the average everyday person, whether you went to university, college, whatever the case may be, or just went to grade 12, these forms aren't written in a language that you can really just decipher. I mean, they're not always yes or no questions.
So
or they're like,
I'm gonna cut you because I know Ryan's got to leave soon.
Understood.
So
Right.
So Anthony Mitchell says, may I add, I remember going off to school many years ago with practically no money. Eventually, I got accepted to a school in Seattle, Washington. After arriving to the school, There was a delay on my financial aid, so the employment coordinator allowed me to keep my valuables in her office till this got sorted out. She mentioned to me of a shelter near the school. On my way, I befriended a homeless guy stepped in to be my guide and friend. Long story short, after 2 weeks, you have to finish the second part of that. And then Fitness IQ says there are resources to apply efficiently, but have to follow the instructions. I think, yes, but you also have to have the knowledge. And again, a lot of these people who have come over, they have no knowledge of the process. They're just so. I think this is where we have to step in and, like you said, be that helping hand.
Right. So next.
Yeah. Let me just add one thing. I'll just say this, and again, I remember. I'll speak for mine. You said information and knowledge. Information and knowledge are the key. I remember getting a form from the government that I had to fill out, and it was pages.
Yep.
And I immediately was like, I was like, how am I going to do this? Because they're asking questions I didn't even know how to respond to.
Yep.
I actually had to go to an accountant and say, hey, how do I fill this out? And he was like, the same thing with me and DJ.
Right.
I have 40 years in this. You tell me that you want to do something musically. I'm like, well, whatever. Boom, it's done.
Yeah.
Or, Jonathan, how do I get this to that? Boom, I know how to do it. But again, if you don't know, or you don't know where the resources are,
it's a uphill climb.
That's why I'm saying, meet the person at the airport, take them through all the steps, and say, thank you very much. Enjoy your life in Canada.
Okay. Juice Man, thank you again. I think we need to have you back when you have time.
Absolutely.
Definitely a lot of great knowledge bombs dropped today. If people want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
If you can't find me in a bill collector can, listen, I get robocalls for air duct cleaning every day. They can find my number. And you tell me you can't find me? I'm not listening. Come on, man. Listen, I'm a 6'5" black man with dreads. You can't find me?
And a beard.
Really? And a beard. And you can't find me? Well, John, I've been looking for you for years. Really?
You know what? And just to add in, you know what I loved the other day? The picture of you and Drew Lion King.
Yeah, man.
We got to talk about that offline, because that seems like it was a very special moment.
Hey, man, listen. I will say this. Julian and myself have been through some things, and to be able to laugh and joke about it so many years later is a testament that there is an almighty God. And I will say that I have many different people in this universe who are mentors to me and friends and whatever, many different cultures and whatever the case may be, and all the other sort of stuff. But I'm going to say this though, straight up. I had a gentleman, I'll leave you with this. I had a gentleman come from Ghana, took the bus to where I was DJing. And there's a picture of myself and Brother OG hugging in Brampton at the farmer's market. And I have friends and family down the street who I haven't seen in 5 years, who know where I'm at, who can see me, whatever the case may be, who've never taken that step to come and offer me that love and affection. And I need it. And I'm going to say this to everybody. So when it comes to finding me, come on, man. Come on. I'm just going to say this. You know where I'm at. And if you don't know where I'm at, I'm going to tell you, you need to find me. You need to find me. Because I've reached out to you. You need to find me now. I'm going to be like my grandparents. No, man, I'll come to you because I took care of you when you were little. It's time for you to find me now. Lift me up. Lift up all the people who've been out there struggling. If you need to find me, I put it right there. Right there. See? Look,
right there.
Juice Man Jonathan Shaw. Just Google me. And if you can't find me,
he's Google-licious. Always has been.
Yeah, man.
Juice Man, all the best.
Love, man.
Thanks again.
Love Ryan.
Well,
Love
all right,
Ryan.
man. Thanks for coming by. Take care. I know, Mr. Ryan, you have a hard stop. So what's going on this weekend?
Yeah, we have our youth entrepreneurship program Saturday and Sunday. Seems clear as I'm looking at the white space on my calendar. So we'll see how long that lasts. But how about yourself? What's on the docket?
Not too much going on this weekend. We're running a repeat of State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and Lala. On Saturday, we may have something with Cesar and Nidelma Musa on the Black Canada Talking on Sunday, but pretty quiet. Just to tell people, coming up Monday on the Morning Vibe, Louis Marsh is going to be on talking about the 10th anniversary of the Freedom Train ride.
Okay.
So that will be good. Also, next Friday, well, a week from today, it's the first Friday of a new month. So you know who's going to be in the house, Wayne Harris.
Yes,
Always,
yes.
you can watch replays of the Morning Vibe on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and Facebook, Afro-Caribbean Business Network on Facebook and YouTube, and the Ryan O'Neill Night on YouTube and LinkedIn. As always, please like the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Like it also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and I still have to put Instagram. That's my challenge for Monday show. Make sure Instagram is on. Join our Discord group. So email me at dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. And finally, if you want to advertise your business or service on our show, please email me at dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. Let me get 2 last comments. Look at this. We must talk, Brother Juice Man, says Anthony Mitchell. And he also gave his email address. You reach out to Juice Man. He said you got to reach out to him. Right? All right. So that's the way it's done. So as always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Sorry. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace. And if you're in the GTA, do something to help these people out. Every little thing counts. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith and walk good.
Here we go.